He's a technical director for Northwestern Province Football. Veteran coach, former player, played for Profund Warriors and then moved to South Africa where he played for Amazulu and many clubs there. He's my guest today on Mawanga's Finest, Coach David Solopi. Welcome to Mawanga's Finest. This is your host, Sujo Zimba, to be with you after the break. Yeah, like I said, we'll be talking to Coach David Solopi, who's a known figure when you talk of football in the country and outside the country as well. Coach, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, and compliments of 2024.
Oh yeah, sure, same to you. Who is David Solopi?
David Solopi, football-wise, I'll give a brief summary of who David Solopi is in terms of football. I played football at Profund Warriors from 1991 to 1993. Then I crossed over, went into South Africa where I played for 19 years in the Premier Soccer League.
Sure.
In South Africa I played for about 7 teams. I played for Black Leopards, I played for Amazulu in Durban, I played for Ria Stars in Polokwane, I played for VAP Professionals, I played for Moroka Swallows, and I played for Ria Stars. Then after playing in South Africa, when I was about to retire at the age of 35 plus, I went and played in India, where I played for a team called Francais. Then I hung my boots in China. Then my legs could not carry me anymore. I decided to cross over to do something else.
So that's generally that's who you are. You've got a rich, the background and obviously the experience itself is testimony that indeed, obviously, you are there. Sure. Where did you derive your inspiration to football? Why did you go into tennis or whatever?
I think the passion for football, it's genetical. My father was the first black Zambian pilot, and he used to play for Red Arrows in Osaka. He was playing with the legends like Peter Kaumba, legends like the late Boniface Muto. So I'm coming from this background where every Zambian boy has to play football. So I was blessed. I was attached to Red Arrows at a very tender age because I used to follow my dad, and I'm sure that's where I drew the inspiration to play football.
That was Profund Warriors?
Yeah, that was Red Arrows.
Red Arrows?
Red Arrows, yes.
I remember at one time, Boniface Muto, he coached Profund Warriors.
Yeah,
that was the period you were saying?
Yeah, that was the period I started my professional football. But where I drove the inspiration was my dad was at Red Arrows. So he was playing at Red Arrows with Boniface Muto.
Okay.
So when Boniface Muto crossed over to be coach at the Profund Warriors, that's how he brought me over to the Profund Warriors.
Now your stint in South Africa, how was your experience there? The weather, the pattern, the standard of play. How was your experience there?
Yes, it was a bit of a challenge, but I would honestly say the passion for football could see beyond the challenges that I would face outside there. Yes, we've got different cultures. The Zambian culture and the South African cultures, they're absolutely different. I went there when I was only 21, just left school. That time it was before apartheid. It was during apartheid era, before South Africa got independence. So as a black person, as a black boy, in that environment it was very hostile. We were treated differently as spies and the likes. But we were guided because of football. It was a uniting factor in South Africa. So we were given special treatment as football players. If you look at the backgrounds of Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, all those are politically inclined clubs. So we were protected. So it was easy for me to adjust into the environment because we were safeguarded from the political influence that was in South Africa.
So how would you compare like the Zambian league football-wise and South Africa? Is there any difference, or there's something that the Zambian league is lacking that South Africa is having? How did you see the difference?
The difference is minimum. What is the difference? The difference is in South African league, they've invested so much into coach development. They have invested so much into coach development. Whereas in Zambia, we want to do the other way around, where we want to develop the players. Let me repeat myself. In South Africa, they have invested so much into coach development because they believe when they develop one coach, they've developed thousands of players. Here at home, we want to spend more time in developing a single player and not developing the person that is supposed to develop a lot of players. So the other factor is the infrastructure. South Africa has got infrastructure. They have categorized even their training facilities according to age relations. Whereas in Zambia, when you go to all primary schools, we all got the same standards of pitch, regardless of the age. The type of equipment which we use in Zambia, for example, when we're developing our kids, we always use size 5 balls, and you are giving it to a child that is below 12, below 10 years old. So those are some of the differences why our friends seem to be developing faster than ourselves. So we just have to get back to the technical know-how on how to do our player development. Otherwise, in terms of talent is something that you have to polish. Everybody is born with a different gift, everybody with a different talent. That is how much time you have spent to develop, to polish that talent. In South Africa, equipment, facilities, it is making their players develop faster than the way we are doing it back home here. In Zambia, it's limited to areas like Lusaka. When you go to athletical facilities in Lusaka, their facilities are different from the ones that we have in Solwezi. So it becomes very, very difficult for us to develop a player in Solwezi and incorporate him into the players in Lusaka because of the difference in facilities.
Yeah, is that the current position? Because I know you've talked about the infrastructure and also coach development. Is there anything that we're lacking as a country that you feel probably that we can enhance on that part?
Yes, I think FAS have done a lot. If you look at the number of technical directors that we have right now in the country, in each province there's a technical director. So that is the way to go. So the question now is, how much are these technical directors in the provinces utilized? Because, for example, in South Africa, as at last year, they had over 400 plus technical directors in the country. And when it comes to period of them being in football in Zambia has been in football for over 50 plus years. South Africa is a new baby. Like I said at first, South Africa have gone into coach development first because they understand to say when you develop the coaches, you develop the nation faster. So FAS are doing the correct thing, yes. There is a lot of coach development which is taking place. Now we are seeing trainings like all these D license, E license, B license, and A license. The whole idea is to change the coaching method.
So in short, we are on the right track.
We are on the right track.
In regard to the coach training.
We are on the right track, I agree.
So what then we just need to improve is on the player aspect, like you mentioned.
Yes, when a lot of coach education has been put into the coaches, they will translate that into the players. So it's a matter of time. I mean, there is testimony. Look, now we have qualified for the AFCON after how many years? We haven't been qualified in the AFCON now. We have now qualified. If you look at the performance of the women's teams, our girls teams, they are performing better than before. If you look at the under 17s, they are doing well. If you look at the under 20, so that is testimony to what coach education program is doing to our football.
So your time with Kanshi, because I know at some point you did coach Kanshi Dynamos. That was in Division 1, which is evident there that you really did a very good thing at Kanshi. Just give us a background of your stay at Kanshi. What motivation did you bring in the team?
Yeah, I was blessed to be given an opportunity to structure Kanshi Dynamos Football Club. My first stand was in 2012. From 2012, we crossed over to 2013. That time, the league was being played the single calendar. We were playing from somewhere April, March, in a single calendar. The season was going to cross over. But the one tangible thing which I can sit and say is the structuring of the football itself. The player recruitment program, I was the pioneer of that on how to recruit players. Like in 2017, we went on to a program where we did the identification of players throughout the 11 districts of Northwestern Province, where we brought in players like Kangombe, who's presently one of the players that Kanshi is using.
Yes.
Yes, and a lot of players, some have been playing into the developmental structure of Kanshi Football Club. Others like Omulo, they have been scattered because of not consistency into the technical staff, where the bench is always changed. So each coach comes with a different philosophy, different coaching methodology, so they come with different players. But we had this program from 2017 where we really wanted to develop talent from the scratch. So that is something that they proudly see the letter of the Republic of South Africa.
So when you left Kanshi, where did you go?
I've been a journeyman. I love football. I love exploring. I've been coaching in Swaziland, where I've coached teams like Malanti Chiefs, in Mbabane.
So when you left Kanshi, you went to Swaziland?
Yes, when I've left Kanshi actually only 3 occasions.
Okay.
I remember, yes. In 2013, when we finished second on the loan with Kanshi, I opted to go to Swaziland, where I coached a team called the Malanti Chiefs in Mfuni, where I was there for 2 seasons. Then again, I was called back to Kanshi in 2016. Kanshi had challenges. They would play about 10 games. They couldn't record the results. I was given also the stand, coached the team. At the end of the season, again, I got a better offer in South Africa. Left. I started coaching an academy in Durban. Then my last stint at Kanshi was in 2017, where we lost out on promotion to Peter United. So I've been a journeyman. I love learning. I love discovering environments.
Sure. Now, Coach, you are the technical director of Northwestern Province in terms of football. I'm sure in that regard, you are the right person really to give us the whole picture in terms of football development here in Northwestern Province. Where is the football standing at the moment here in Northwestern Province?
It's a big challenge in terms of the area, the geographic area of Northwestern Province. Northwestern Province is wide. And like I mentioned earlier, yes, I've been blessed. I've been one of the blessed people that have been trained by FAS. A lot of investment has been put into I as a person by the Football Association of Zambia to bring me to where I am as the technical director of the province. Yes, I'm the correct person that can give the structure on how to do player development in the country, in the province, to be specific. So what is needed is, FAS have done their part. The province also have to do their part. Each province in the country have got their own person that has been trained. As far as UEFA elite training, if a person is trained at that level, what it entails is they'll be equipped with enough knowledge to develop players. So as a province, we need to embrace this opportunity which FAS has given us. Bringing the coaches together. I'm not here I'm not being trained to train the players, no. I'm actually trained as technical director to develop the coaches so that our modern coaches today must be coaching in the modern technologies of coaching. I'm coming from a background where we've been trained in the yesteryear methodology. So the modern coach, there is a way in which they have to coach. Why am I saying so? The time that we had during our generation, is not normal there into our modern generation. Our modern generation, they are too busy. They don't have time to be on the field or play the whole 5 hours. No. A modern generation, there's too much influence out there. So a modern coach must be equipped with a modern, short training methodology on how they can get the best out of the modern child.
Yeah, do you see, going by the trainings that you actually been training these coaches around here, do you see, does that translate into the actual well-being of the coaches?
I'll be very honest with you, because I'm one philosopher that believes in the truth. I sit in very, very guilty. I haven't been utilized. I haven't been given the platform where I have to translate the knowledge which Faz has imparted in me into the coaches in Chavuma, the coaches in Manyinga, the coaches in Zambezi, the coaches in all the 11 districts of the province. So my appeal on that regard is let our association at the provincial level come up with these programs where we need to train our coaches on the modern methodologies of coaching. Then the knowledge that has been imparted into us as technical directors, it will show results. Here is evidence. If you look at the number of players that are being picked at under 17, at under 15, at national level, how many are we getting from this province? That is testimony to tell you what is happening in the background. We are always complaining 90%, 95% of the players are coming from Lusaka, are coming from the Copper Belt. What about these other provinces? So that is something an administrator must be concerned. What is the difference? The same technical directors trained by the same institution, they are able to produce more players. Other provinces like Northwestern Province, how many players do we have that have been graduated from our provinces to go into? Those that you find playing for the national team, you find they've been developed in other provinces, not in our provinces. So it's not something that you can even put it as a debate. It's a fact. We are not doing enough as a province to develop our players to go and compete out there at national level.
Do you are the technical director of Northwestern Province, and I do believe that the first administration here, you should be in constant liaison in terms of discussion to do with football around. Do you work in isolation, or I don't know?
There are challenges, yes, like in any other sector, there are challenges. Mostly the cardinal thing that always come up is about the finances. We don't have money for this program, we don't have money for this program. Yes, there are two things here. There's a structure where we are training the coaches. For example, in licenses, you've got the D license, you've got the E license, you've got that graph. But the question
just there, you as a technical director in Northwestern Province, football-wise, are you working in collaboration with the provincial funds administration here?
Yes, I'm sitting in that office, but like I have earlier on said off camera, yeah, there are challenges. Like in any other institution, there are challenges. Mostly what comes out is the financial aspect, where you are told there are limitations, you cannot do this because of this. But by and large, at the end of the day, you need a technical director to do the technical side of football. So it's just prudent. That's why there are these departments in every institution. So for the province to move forward, we need the technical person to give the technical know-how how to develop our players. Then we can see results in the shortest possible time.
Yeah, now, Coach, I don't know what would be your position. Northwestern Province is actually privileged to have the mining giants, the likes of Kanshi Mining, FQM, and the Lumwana Mine as well. And from the layman point of view, obviously one would think that these mining giants obviously produce good teams that will compete the confederations, but that seems not to be the case here in Northwestern Province, despite having these mining giants. Where do you think we're lacking in terms of us not making it to the continental showpiece?
Your question actually makes me bleed, because I'm a Northwesternian, born and battered in here. I've seen other provinces, for example, the Copper Belt. When you go into the Copper Belt today, you find infrastructures in terms of football infrastructures that were left by the mines. Come to Northwestern Province, zero. So that worries me. I don't know what is the difference in terms of these provinces, what the mines were doing in terms of recreation policies and the mines that we have today. Because I grew up in Solwezi, it was difficult for us to go and play on the Copper Belt because all the good players were based on the Copper Belt because of the mining influence which they had. Now things have changed. Northwestern Province has the biggest mines in the country. I'm yet to see any infrastructure. For example, just yesterday, today is a new year. Yesterday we had the local derby where Kanshi Dynamos were playing with Trident.
Yeah.
And the local derby is being played on the Copper Belt. Now you ask yourself, is this really a local derby or what is going on? So I don't want to go much into the other side of the technical aspect because I don't have the know-how what is happening. But on the technical side, it's really embarrassing. How do you explain to your kids that the local derby is being played on the Copper Belt? It's like carrying water from Lusaka, you're taking to Chilungu where there's a Zambezi River. That's what we have done. We've been crying for football to come into the province. Now that we've got clubs in the Premier League, but we get our football and we still take it back to where it has been there for years. It's really sad, really.
Yeah, maybe just to build up on that question, really, because Kanshi has not been using the actual the ground as in home ground for about 2 seasons, 2022-2023 season, and 2023 now 2024 season, and currently in terms of the standing, Kanshi has played 18 at the moment, on 1-4 and 8 draws, sitting on the 14th position. Do you see this as a result of Kanshi not utilizing the home ground?
Look, as a technical person, I feel bad for the technical bench of Kanshi Dynamos, Trident, and the 3 big teams that we have in the province. Because in football, if you look at the locality of Northwestern Province, we are talking of some 600 kilometers away from clubs like in Osaka, some 300 kilometers away from clubs on the Copper Belt to come here. So there is a lot of influence when you are playing at home. One, you've got the 13th player, who are the supporters. Currently, it's difficult for how many supporters can travel to go and cheer their teams on the Copper Belt. So the clubs, we have really denied them the 13th player who is a supporter. We have denied the club the home ground advantages, because if you are playing on a pitch where you are always training on, players, they dominate certain positions on the pitch. Just when players go for training, there are areas that they first visit on the pitch. So those becomes their dominion. Football players are just like wild animals. When you go in the bush, you find lions, they dominate certain areas. So even players. So we have removed that dominancy of the home ground from our players. So all the games, the 2 seasons Kanshi have been playing away.
So you're saying their dismal performance is a result of not utilizing the home ground? I'm sure which is well known fact. I know there are politics around the use of the stadium. It's in public domain. We go through all these things every day. Yeah, and now getting to Trident. They haven't won any game. They've played 10 points. What's your comment on that?
I think it's still the same thing of Northwestern clubs. I don't know what is happening. We can even Trident. I need maybe to do some tactical analysis on how they've been recruiting the players. So I don't know how they recruited the players to be ready to compete in this league. So as a technical person, all I can address is how they've developed the club, how they've done their recruitment structure, how they have adopted the playing philosophy at the club. Most of the challenges which our clubs are facing, not only in Northwestern Province, even outside, is adopting a playing philosophy. For example, you and me, when we talk about Spain, We talk about Italy, we talk about Brazil. They've got a way they play their football. So when we come to our clubs, what philosophy is being adopted by our clubs? So you find because we don't have this playing philosophy that is being defined at the club level, so it becomes very difficult for the team to progress. That's why you find even our results on this side of the province, they are not consistent. It's a win, it's lose, 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 draw, it's a win, lose, 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 draw. But when you get to other clubs where they have adopted a playing philosophy, it is being engraved, it's there. You find the performance becomes consistent. So I cannot judge much since I'm an outsider a little bit from these clubs. I'm not into it to understand the technical structure, the technical philosophy that they've adopted and why they've adopted that and the abilities of the players that they have for them to compete in this league.
Lumwana has played 9, 7 draws, 2 losses. Your analysis on that one? Are they faring well? Because in fact that they're coming from the Premier Division.
Lumwana, they should be in top 4, isn't it?
Yeah, as we attain on 3rd position.
On 3rd position, they're in top 4. Well, the advantage we have with the National League is the top 4 graduates to the Premier League. Like I've said, I don't have the tactical details or the structure of these inside teams. The challenge we have is if we need to reach at a stage where we need to have interactions with these clubs and make them understand, to be given guidance on the playing philosophy, so that even if you bring a player from whichever part of the country, he can easily come and fit into the philosophy. The challenge we have now is we've not reached that level. That's why I'm always talking about coach development. We need to reach at that level where we have defined our playing philosophy, so that any player can come and play in that same structure. So without those structures in place, if they are there, I don't have the information. All I see are these results that are fluctuating. So it's a food of thought. Maybe as technical director, we need to visit these clubs and get the details and give technical advice into those philosophies that they've adopted.
I'm sure, yes, as a main man, I'm sure you'll be able to interact and get to see where the problem could be lying, and probably very public so we can know where it's actually reaching from there. Yeah, as we get to the end of the break, Coach, we'll be talking about women football just after the break, and I just want you to note this, Coach. It's in public domain that Kanshi Dynamos, as we speak now, is one of the best teams in the country, and every player, every coach wants to come to Kanshi. So, is there anything that you would want to implore to the executive, probably, that they should, adopt and move forward?
The goodness about football doesn't lie. For people to be speaking about Kanshi women football team, it means there's something positive which they are doing. They have invested so much into the women football. Kanshi is a brand. Kanshi is a brand, like I've been talking about the male team. If they could have their own, if you look at the female team, they can play at home, and opposed to the main team. So the female team is using those factors I was talking about, the home ground advantages, which the male team doesn't have. And the injection in terms of support that has been given to the women, it is attracting all this manpower that is making Kanshi grow. If you look at the head coach, she just graduated from a C license. So with that kind of investment which is put into the team, believe you me, in every sector of life, you cannot remove education. You cannot. Even just being a plumber, you need to invest into the knowledge. So which is Kanshi, that's what Kanshi has done into their technical staff. So results are there to be the same.
Sure. All right, I'm talking to the veteran coach, administrator, Coach David Solopi. This is Mabanga's finest. Stay tuned. welcome back. I'm still interacting and getting personal to Coach David Solopi. Coach, women football has actually taken a center stage. We have seen our women's national team playing at the World Cup. Where do you see women football heading to in the country?
It's got a bright future. Why is it a bright future? From 2010, Stephen Blatter, the former FIFA president, when they brought up the idea of club licensing, one of the conditions for a club to be club licensed is to have a female football team. So even in terms of coach education or associations, they charge less for female coaches. So that has empowered a lot of women to venture into football as technical people. So because of those programs which the FA has put in, and CAF and FIFA, it has now brought a lot of light to women football, and the incentives that have been attached to women football, it's not like it was in the past. So our players are motivated. Our girl child is now motivated to play football. They know that now football is a professional business. We here now sit as Zanu, we've got players, girl players that are playing outside the country. So that is a lot of motivation. And having role models in society is very, very key to motivate young players. So we talk about the Barbara Bandas and the other Bandas and all those girls. So it's easy to relate our girls child living in Solwezi. We've got girls also that are from Northwestern Province that are playing in the national team level. So it's easy for us to motivate within the girl child. So it is just important that we keep on motivating our young children. Evidence is all over there.
Do you see that pronouncement by the former FIFA president, yielding positive results here in Northwestern Province in regard to women football?
Yes, because it's mandatory. It's mandatory that for a club to play at national in the Zambian Premier League, you must have a female team. For example, even in the Premier League, even if you cannot qualify for cup football if you don't have a female team. So the results are evidence in Northwestern Province. If you look at now, we've got Manyama Queens, we've got all these clubs, police clubs, they're playing at national level. So this is something that, as a province, me who grew up here, born here, we never knew girls could even play football. Now it's evident we've got national league clubs playing Kanshi, they're here, they can play all over the country. So the evidence is here, and the future is very, very bright in women football.
Do you think also that there should be legislation to compel companies, to have women football teams, or even just generally promoting football? Yeah.
Yes, what it is with companies, I'm talking from the background I'm coming from. These companies, they want to market their product. And for them to market their product, they need a product that is vibrant, a product that is eye-catching. So for the club to attract these companies to come and give a hand, they need to structure themselves. For example, start playing good football, then it will attract investors. If you have not invested into the coach education part, which will bring good football into your club, it will be very difficult for you to bring in investors to come and help you. Who wants to invest in a company that doesn't have a name? There is no one. So we need just to come up with the coach education policy, educate our coaches so that they will bring in good football, which is going to attract these companies to come and support our football.
Now, Coach, do you see FAS doing enough in terms of training of coaches?
Yes, there's a lot of positive coming from fans in terms of coach education. For example, right now, we had Wetson Nyerenda that was sent for a pro license. We had the coach for the national team for women, Bruce. He was also sent across. We have seen a lot of coaches that have been sent to go and do, for example, CAF A license outside the country. We've got a lot of, for now, we've got technical directors in all the 10 provinces. So that is the only way we can develop as a country, because the world is changing. We are now living in a modernized society. For example, if you look at our modern football on TV, coaches are now coaching on iPad. So on that question, my encouragement to the would-be coaches is you need to upgrade yourself in terms of technology. You must be a friend to computers. You must be a friend to the modern technology, because whether you like it or not, the world has gone digital. So even the training methodologies are now digital. So for you to be a better coach, you need to live with the modern time. Faz is doing tremendous work.
Sure. What has been your highest moment in your football career, the lowest moment that you would share to us? I know there could be many.
I didn't expect that today. 1st of January.
2024.
Wow. I think my highest moment in terms of coaching is 2017, where I structured Kanshi Dynamos from pre-season and ending up on second position when Quito United took over the first slot. In Swaziland, my highest moment in coaching is when I took Malanti Chiefs, where they had played 10 games without a win, and I took them to finish in top 3. That was a big achievement,
sure,
because I wasn't part of the recruitment structure during pre-season. My lowest moment, the first one was in South Africa, where I was relegated as a player by that time. I was playing for a team in Vawa called the Vawa Professionals. We got relegated and we started playing in the Vawa League. That was a tough learning moment. In my coaching journey, it was when I was at National Assembly in Lusaka, where we failed to structure the team to where the team had set the targets for us to save it from relegation. So we were relieved of for my duties, with 12 games to go, and unfortunately another coach took over, 12 games to go, and the team was dropped from National League to Provincial League. I'm happy now they are back into the National League, though they are still struggling at the bottom 4. So those are some of the highlights that I've encountered.
By the way, Coach, what position were you playing?
When I started my playing football here in Solwezi, my role model by that time was Kalushawadi. Okay. So using the left foot, I automatically was admiring to play as a striker. So when I crossed over into South Africa.
So initially you were using the right foot, but because of the
left foot. No, I'm a left footer.
Okay. It was not more like
natural left footer, though it was not as developed as I would have loved it to be now that I have got the knowledge. So I was playing as a striker. Then when I went to Profund, I continued as a striker. Then the coach Boniface Mito, because of the competition which was there by then, we had the late Patrick Chishimba, who were competing in those positions. I was dropped to come and play in midfield. In midfield again, it was congested with a lot of talent. We had David Makinka, the late Patrick Banda. Still more, the competition was too stiff, and the member was coming from Northwestern Province, where the development of football and exposure was not good. So the frustrations which I got at the Profund Warriors forced me now to cross over. So when I went to South Africa, I went there as a striker. To shock you, I was still not getting the best that I really wanted as a striker. I would play games without even shot or on target, until there came a coach from Brazil who came and identified my abilities and transformed me into a central defender. The first day asked me to play as central defender, I was like, this coach doesn't like me now, he's chasing me. Little did I know that that was what my abilities entails.
Yeah.
So I've been playing as a central defender for 15 years in South African football. So this gives me a lot of lessons to ask technical people. When you see a player comes to your ground and they'll tell you, I'm a striker, I'm a defender, what qualifies this player to play in those positions So that is the knowledge we need now as coaches. We sit down and we interact so that we are able to put the players in the correct positions. These are situations you find this player was playing in midfield, he goes to another club, he's playing in a different position. You start wondering, it's the knowledge which has come to light.
Sure. Coach, as we come to the end of our program, away from football, are you married?
Yeah, married to a beautiful wife.
Sure.
I've got 2 kids with her here in Solopi.
Female, male?
I've got only boys, and of the 2 boys, one is using a left foot, but I will share with them my life experience on how much they should invest into the football side. So basically that is my private life in terms of marriage. I'm married, yes. I've got 3 boys actually at home, 3 boys. One is not interested into football, he's good with electrical issues. The other one is into farming, the other one is into sport.
So what do you do away from football?
Thank you for this question. This is one area which we need to talk to our players. Football career is a short career. It is life after football. So we need to change the mindset of our players. After you finish investing your time into football, what next? I'm into aquaculture because I've been mentored from Devon. I love fish. I grow fish. And I'm the provincial chairperson for Northwestern Aquaculture. So I grow fish, that is what I do apart from football. So if football doesn't give me food on the table, fish will always give me food.
Sure. Coach, your recommendation as we close up on this show, this program, your recommendation to us, what should they pick from things that we've actually discussed here?
Yes, with the FAS, they shouldn't to run away from the policy which they've put of coach education. Coach education is the only key that can help us develop our football. Anywhere you go, knowledge is light.
That is inclusive women football and
it's inclusive in whatever sector. We need coach education. Our coaches must start speaking as technical people. That is the only way we can develop our players. Our players must be moving from one club to another, not into a different atmosphere. They should always find the technical language which is being applied at Kanshi, the same technical language which is applied at Muza, which is applied at Red Arrows, because they are coming from the same technical environment. So FAS shouldn't derail into investment into coach education, and that concludes it.
Yeah, Coach, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
To Asante
and sharing Mamanga's Finest.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Well, there you are. This has been Mamanga's Finest. The program today we had veteran coach administrator, Coach David Solopi. See you next time.